So, welcome to the part 2 of the talk We Shall Fight on the Beaches by Winston Churchill. Here, we find the idea of leadership and nationalism through the speech of Prime Minister of Britain, Sir Winston Churchill. Churchill focuses on the concept that when the entire Great Britain is waiting for the foreign invasion, especially the attack by Hitler from Germany, when the nation is losing its mental strength and courage to fight against their enemy, then it is the president who has shouldered the responsibility of cheering up the nation. And as a great orator of his time, Sir Winston Churchill here delivered the concept of non surrender. He told categorically through the speech that though the British armies are almost in a devastating condition, some areas, some frontiers are there which is kept open basically because there is due to shortage of manpower. But at the same time, he talks about the greatest naval power of Britain, which is ready to protest to withstand the attack of the foreign invasion if Hitler is attacking Great Britain. At the same time, he talks about the necessity on part of the nation of not losing the moral courage and strength during the testing time. He keeps on focusing on the fact that it is the time for collective courage. It is not important that one soldier or the one leader of the country should fight against the foreign attack. Rather, all the citizens of the country, they need to act collaboratively, jointly, and they should build collective resistance against the foreign invasion so that there is no such area of doubt where Britain's power and prowess can be doubted. He also talks about a very important concept of national unity. He uses the royal plural, we, again and again. It's not I. He said, we shall defend our land. Here by we he means the government, the nation, the citizen, the civilians, the navy, the army, everybody associated with the defense mechanism of the entire country. And he continuously keeps up the hope very high against all odds. So he said, even if Britain fails, the empire and allies will continue the struggle. So he said it is important to keep on the struggle for liberation and justice, because if Britain is unable to defend its own foreign enemies, then Britain already has allies or the friends who will come in support of Britain. So there is no point on part of the British citizens to lose their moral courage and strength. At the same time, again and again, he uses the term, we shall fight. We shall fight. It is a rhetorical device. It is known as the anaphora because he begins so many sentences towards the last part of the lecture with the phrase, we shall fight. So the repetition of the same phrase at the beginning of a sentence is known as anaphora. He uses plenty use of this rhetorical device, anaphora. And he talks about very important concept of fighting, because here fighting is associated with the moral strength of the nation and the ability of the nation to defend the foreign attack. So he has categorically mentioned the areas where Britain will fight against the foreign attack. These areas are the beaches, the landing grounds, the fields, the straits, and the hills, and finally against empire. So he said Britain is ready to fight. Without fighting, without defending, Britain will not leave the field. So as a result, the citizens of the country should be more confident that Britain has its histories of wars, battles, and that they have come out victorious. So this time, though this is a testing time for the nation, but the nation will come out victorious. At the same time, the language is very simple but very powerful. It is boosting the moral, the emotional side of the nation when the nation is hoping that maybe the foreign power is there on their way to attack land, and though how much Britain has defended the country, there is the concept that we will never surrender. So the concept of not surrendering, not bowing down one's head without fighting is repeated, reflected in every line of the speech. So the speech is clearly bearing the note of defiance. Here, as a leader, he is acting as a cheerleader for the nation who is hoping high that It is our country, our land. So there is no concept of I, no concept of singular personality. Rather, he collectively thinks about the time where we need to build our defense collectively. We need to focus on building up our mental strength and courage, and we should be prepared to fight. So without fighting we will not surrender. So surrender is never ever an option for Britain. So here he talks about the idea that Britain has already witnessed so many wars and battles, and Britain has never given up. So, as a result, when the time is testing, time is difficult, we need to focus on our collective sense of nationality and nationalism. And as a leader, he has continuously taking on his shoulder the responsibility to develop the moral courage of the nation so that the nation can fight in line with its soldiers and the leaders. So, this is an example of rhetorical persuasive speech. Here he validates, celebrates national identity, and he prioritizes national identity over anything in the nation. And it is a remarkable historical speech which documents the ability of an able leader to encourage the moral of the nation when the nation is doubting the strategies and the military power of its own country. So, we shall fight on the beaches is not merely a political speech. Rather, it is a text of resistance where language itself is used as a weapon, as a device with which the leader will be able to cheer up the moral strength of the citizens. So, Churchill transforms fear into courage and retreat into resolve. Therefore, this entire speech is a beautiful example of how an able leader constitutes frames the concept of leadership based on nationalism. Within the concept of leadership and nationalism, there is no existence of personal identity or subjective singular identity. Rather, the leader, being the representative of the whole nation, should think in terms of the broader goal of humanity, and Winston Churchill exactly does that. So, it is a very famous wartime speech where his speech is harping on the concept of able leadership, which is able to ignite the concept of nationalism within all the citizens of the country. Hope you have understood the text in a clear way. If you find the video, please do like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and stay tuned. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.